Hey everyone, and welcome. We are about to dive into one of the biggest questions out there. How do you actually read the real estate market? We're going to cut through all that noise and give you the tools you need to see where things are really headed. So, let's get right into it.
You know the feeling, right? It's the question that's on basically everyone's mind. You see one headline that says prices are soaring, and the next says they're about to crash. Making a decision can feel like a huge gamble. But you know what? It doesn't have to be that confusing.
The secret here isn't some magic crystal ball. It's just knowing which numbers to watch. Seriously, by focusing on just a few key metrics, you can get a much clearer picture of what the market is doing and move forward with some real confidence.
So, here's our game plan for today. First, we're going to crack the market's code. Then, we'll get into that classic tug of war between supply and demand, and we'll see how a buyer's financial power kind of acts as a reality check on prices. After that, we'll look at the wider economy, show you how to spot the turning points, and then figure out your best strategic next step.
Okay, first things first, forget those clickbait headlines. If you really want to understand what's happening, you have to look past the drama and get into the raw data that's actually driving everything. And we're going to show you exactly how to do it.
At its heart, real estate is all about supply and demand. That's it. It's the fundamental engine that determines everything, from home prices to how fast a property sells. So let's break down both sides of this crucial equation.
First up, let's talk about supply. It really all boils down to one simple question. How many homes are actually for sale? And is that number getting bigger or smaller? This is the first piece of the puzzle because it tells us exactly how much choice buyers have out there.
So, we track supply using three main numbers. Active inventory is just what it sounds like, the total number of homes for sale. Months of supply tells us how long it would take to sell all of those homes at the current pace. And new construction gives us a sneak peek into future supply. Now, you really want to pay attention to months of supply, because when that number drops below 3 months, like it did back in that 2021 frenzy, the market gets incredibly competitive.
Now for the other side of the coin, demand. I mean, it doesn't matter how many homes are for sale if nobody's there to buy them, right? This is where we measure the real energy and momentum in the market.
And here are the demand metrics you want to watch. Now, what's so important about these is that they are leading indicators. Pending sales show us contracts that are being signed right now. Days on market shows how fast homes are flying off the shelf. And the ratio of bidding wars to price cuts gives you a real-time feel for how confident buyers are. These numbers change before the official home prices do.
And this is how it all fits together. You've got high supply and low demand. That creates a buyer's market. You have more choices and way less pressure. But when supply is low and demand is high, you get a seller's market, which means fewer choices and a ton of competition.
But you know, even in the absolute hottest seller's market, there's always a limit. And that limit is affordability. You can think of it as the market's pressure valve. Prices can only go up as high as a buyer's wallet will let them.
This brings us to a huge concept, purchasing power. See, it's not just about the price tag of the home. It's really all about the monthly payment. And the single biggest thing that impacts that monthly payment, you guessed it, mortgage interest rates.
Let's look at a really quick example. Let's say you're borrowing $500,000, okay? At a 5% interest rate, your principal and interest payment is going to be just under $2,700 a month. Seems manageable, right? But now, watch what happens if rates jump up to 7%. That same exact loan now costs over $600 more every single month. That is a massive drop in purchasing power, and it can cool down a hot market almost instantly just by pricing buyers out.
All right, so you also have to remember the housing market isn't living on its own little island. It's deeply connected to the health of the broader economy. What's happening with jobs, with wages, with population growth, all of that has a huge impact on long-term demand.
And the logic here is pretty simple. Housing demand follows people, and people follow jobs. So you got to ask yourself, are companies in my area hiring and raising wages? Are people moving into the area or moving out? Are foreclosures stable? A strong local economy is really the bedrock of any healthy housing market.
Okay, so we've covered supply, demand, affordability, and the economy. Now for the fun part. How do we put it all together to actually spot when the market is about to shift?
Think of this as your cheat sheet for seeing which way the wind is blowing. If you see days on market getting faster while the inventory of homes is shrinking, well, prices are probably heading up. But if you see the opposite, homes are sitting longer, inventory is piling up, and more sellers are cutting their prices, that's the market telling you a cool down is on the way.
And this, right here, is where the real power is. By watching these leading indicators, you're not looking at where the market has been, you're looking at where it's going, and that gives you a massive strategic edge.
So now you have the framework to read the big picture. But what does all of this mean for your specific situation? And more importantly, for your local market?
And this is probably the most crucial piece of the entire puzzle. Because while these big national trends are powerful, you have to remember, all real estate is intensely local. The specific school district, what's nearby. These hyperlocal factors can mean that two homes just a few blocks apart can perform completely differently.
So please, use this framework as your starting point. The absolute best decisions happen when you combine this big picture knowledge with a really deep dive into your specific neighborhood. And that's the final piece we can help you put in place.
So what's your next move? Well, if you're ready to translate all this knowledge into a personalized action plan for your area, we invite you to reach out. At GetTheFlips.com, we provide that comprehensive local analysis you need to navigate this market with total confidence. Thanks so much for joining us.